The day is finally here, another episode of Europeans in Taiwan, and although this video is funded by the European Union office here in Taiwan, the Swedish fika behind us here is at least partially funded by myself, since today we are here in the Swedish office in Taiwan talking with the Swedish representative, Anders.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Probably the most known Swede in Taiwan. And you've done a lot for making Sweden more known in Taiwan.
Thank you, thank you. Who are you and what are you doing here in Taiwan?
Well, I'm the Swedish representative. I'm a career diplomat since 1984. This is my...
5 years before I was born. As a career diplomat then, it wasn't your choice to come into Taiwan. Your boss just said go to Taiwan.
Yeah, they basically tell you what they ask, would you mind doing? But it's a perfect posting. It has everything. Such a wonderful place and it's interesting and things are happening. And, you know, in the other direction, in Sweden, the interest for Taiwan is increasing a lot. I came in February.
6 months.
So I'm still, you know, new. Still climbing to cruising altitude.
I'm the one who should say welcome then.
Yeah,
although we're in your office, I kind of feel like you're in my Taiwan right now. That's how it feels.
It means a lot to be welcomed by you, actually.
So how much did you know about Taiwan when you got asked, hey, do you want to go to Taiwan?
Diplomats have their radar screen adjusted to all kinds of things in the world. So I knew something. I mean, I knew about semiconductors and Taiwan is an advanced place. It had developed a lot. It became a modern society in record short time. What Taiwan did in 20 years, Sweden needed more than a century to achieve. You tend to have the vision that it's a small island, which it isn't. It's not a small island.
I usually say that Taiwan is a small island that never ends.
That's a good saying. It has the population of Australia, more or less, same size with economy. That's pretty significant, actually.
But what was like the biggest difference between the image you had before and like your daily life here in Taiwan now?
The obvious first answer is the beauty of Taiwan. The beauty, the nature. People are extremely friendly here.
It's almost like too much, you know. You cannot go.
No, it's not too much. It's not too much. This is what we need.
Okay.
Human beings need people to be nice to each other.
Maybe I'm still like Swedish at heart. I'm just like some people just like come up and like they're nice,
yeah.
But they talk to me for no reason. And in Sweden, you don't really.
No, in Sweden you don't do it. No, you don't do it because Swedes are a bit reserved, not unfriendliness or lack of interest. It's rather respect for the other people, respect for the personal space.
Speaking of personal space, I feel like you're disappearing out of frame right now.
Yeah. No,
I
want to be in the framework.
You mentioned the beauty of Taiwan.
Yeah.
I have actually bumped into you at Elephant Mountain.
Yeah, it's a place I love. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
So I know for a fact that you've actually enjoyed the nature like firsthand. And one of the sea turtles at Xiaoliuqiu. Told me that you had a great time down there.
You are friends with everyone.
Yes.
That was a great trip, and I mean, I went with my wife and adult son, and we saw the sea turtles, and that was a wonderful nature experience. Yeah, it's amazing. First time in her life, she dared to ride a scooter. I mean, Taiwan is the place to do it, right?
Yeah, and specifically Xiaoliuqiu. That was actually the first place I drove a scooter in Taiwan as well.
You see, yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Normally in this series, I try to get to know the different countries a little bit more, but I'm Swedish, so I cannot sit here and just pretend I don't know anything about Sweden. But one of the biggest challenges I have, because I grew up in the Swedish countryside.
In Värmland, right?
In Värmland, yes.
Yeah.
Literally like in the middle of nowhere. And I just wanted to make sure that, your view of Sweden, although you've been a career diplomat for literally longer than I've been alive, your daily life in Sweden versus your daily life in Taiwan. What has been like the biggest differences, you would say?
I never cook here.
Oh, yes. Yes, I haven't cooked for 13 years.
Yeah, I haven't cooked for 6 months. And I like cooking, That's one of my favorite pastimes to cook for my family, Nothing fancy, but I like to cook. So that's an obvious change. Yeah, it's hotter here. You need to dress differently, of course, but I don't mind.
You should know, just for the purpose of you being the Swedish representative, I actually dressed up. I never wear a suit. I'm just wearing this because it's Sweden now, but I feel this is getting like way too hot now.
Well, you can take it off. Should we take them off?
Okay, yeah, let's take them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's much better, isn't it? Yeah.
I've been a YouTuber here in Taiwan now for 5 years actually. Earlier this month it was 5 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
5 years already.
5 years, yeah. And hopefully I have made a lot of Taiwanese people interested in coming to visit Sweden and check it out for themselves.
Yeah.
What is something that you feel Taiwanese people should know before coming to Sweden?
It's a safe place, you know, if you're street smart. Taiwan is
Taiwan is a safe place even if you're stupid. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, anyway, you're going to be a bit street smart as a tourist. It's a nice tourist destination. Traditionally did not have so many tourists, but it's increasing, and the ones who are actually coming to Sweden enjoy it very much. Discover that there are good hotels and there's very good food, actually, good gastronomy. You should always go to Stockholm, the city capital, of course. It has a lot of history. It has a lot of nice restaurants. It's a city where you can actually swim in central, you know, the water is clean.
Normally, when I'm interviewing, like, you know, all these different countries, I always ask what is a word or a sentence that Taiwanese tourists should know in the local language, Swedish in this case, before visiting.
Yeah.
Since I am a Swede, we're gonna do this a little bit differently, because I've already picked out a few words that I need your help to explain. First one, speaking about nature, allemansrätten.
Oh, the right for public access to nature. It means that you have the right to roam wherever you like in nature. Of course, you can't come into anyone's gardens surrounding the house, but you can have access to any woods or nature. You're even allowed to camp one night. It's a huge thing. Forest, for example, is more than half of our space.
Especially living in Värmland, which it just feels like 99% just forest. Which also means that you can literally just sit in the middle of the forest and then literally just put down your hand and then grab a piece of blueberry and then eat it straight off from the plant here in the middle of the Swedish forest. Just make sure that you don't steal any one of my mom's blueberries, which she's already stealing from the neighbor. And we're all good to go. Lagom.
Not too much and not too little, you know.
That's it?
How big a serving would you like?
Lagom.
Say, lagom. How much coffee do you drink every day?
Yeah.
Lagom.
Lagom.
or a bit more than lagom, actually, but I have to be careful.
And speaking about coffee, the last word is fika.
Yeah, that's coffee.
That is coffee.
But not only that, but the culture around the coffee. Yeah, here are the cinnamon buns.
Coffee, but in order for it to be a proper fika, you do need to eat some snacks or some cinnamon buns or cookies or something to it as well.
Soon, but yeah, the ballerina. Oh yeah.
This is self-imported from Sweden.
I'm allowed to bring those in too.
We're gonna eat up all the evidence now, so there's no...
Yeah, it never existed.
Literally the best cookies in the world.
It also means, you know, a time during the day, or several times a day, where you see... Lagom times a day.
It either means 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and maybe if you're lucky, 5 p.m. as well.
Yeah.
Is there any other word or phrases or things that I missed?
Yeah, well, one is small goodies. So, yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah, I should have more, but there was someone in my office who took a handful, actually.
Someone in my office.
Someone in my office took a... Goodies is candy, basically, and small goodies is... You know, candy which you buy at these...
Pick and mix.
Pick and mix, I think. Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, this is like one of the few things that I really miss from Sweden. Has there been any other like big differences from you that you notice yourself or just in general?
One thing which I thought about is the sort of work culture is different.
No fika.
Yeah. Taiwan is very fast. Fast analysis, fast decision, fast implementation. Yeah. And it's impressive because you do get things done. Whereas the Swedes are, well, basically slower. We like to sort of, think different angles of a problem. So everybody should have a saying. That means that we have a lot of fika. Once we have a decision and sort of conclusion, it's very well anchored.
In terms of similarities?
Oh, there are many similarities, actually. Free spirit that you get from a free society and democracy. I thought about nature again also, and this I didn't expect when I came to Taiwan, but the fact again that the nature is so accessible. As a Swede, you depend on the nature to sort of harness the energy.
The thing that struck me the most was just how different Taiwan is within like a 1 hour ride.
Yeah.
Because you know, like if you would compare, like saying like the different types of nature in Taiwan and the different types of nature in Sweden, we would have a very wide range of different natures. But you know, in Sweden, it's like a one-day project to go up north.
Yeah. You pack the car and you go on, and it looks almost the same, and then it looks a bit
exactly.
And then actually you see some difference. You see a mountain.
Exactly. So like we're talking about, you know, like I mean, 2 hours in a car driving like straight north. And then like every 2 hours you will see a different nature.
Yeah.
Whereas in Taiwan, it's like, you know, it's 10 minutes on a scooter. Another similarity that I noticed was the overall love for like music.
Yes,
Like,
yes, absolutely. A lot of international music is recorded and produced in Sweden. Sweden is the producer of, third, I think, producer of pop music or rock music in the world. I mean, ABBA, it was long ago, but we have come a long way, and there's a lot of other artists. Some of them you don't realize that they are Swedish. Some examples, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. They recorded in Sweden and were produced in Sweden.
And just to prove that we have the best music in the world, or at least the best music in Europe, we can just also mention that Sweden, of course, won the Eurovision Song Contest, which is the biggest music contest in Europe. So we do have some facts to back up the claims here. You've been kind enough to invite me here for a fika in your office. In addition to eating 2-3 fikas per day, what do you actually do here in the office and in Taiwan?
Yeah, good question. Movies at Netflix. No,
okay.
I'm joking.
Not even YouTube videos. Come on.
I watch it. That is the first thing I do, of course. I do support Swedish business here, taking care of all the interests of Sweden. Many people associate Sweden with big companies and big brand names like IKEA or Volvo.
You have to say IKEA now, otherwise it's going to be a whole storm about how we pronounce this.
It's very Swedish in its way.
Actually, I would argue that IKEA is too famous. And you know, they have like the Swedish flags. I was walking with a friend and his little kid. And then we walked outside his office, the World Trade Center, where they also have like all the different country flags.
Yeah.
And he was, IKEA!
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bad, you know.
Yeah, but IKEA is good. It's a good start anyway.
Other than subscribing and continue watching this YouTube channel, what can Taiwanese people do if they're interested in wanting to know more about Sweden?
There's a very good website called sweden.se. If you want to visit Sweden, there's an organization called Visit Sweden.
It's a Swedish efficiency right here. Like we don't beat up around the bush.
Yeah,
it's like
after
Sweden.se, Visit Sweden.
After a lot of discussions and consultations and fikas, we actually came up with those ideas. As a tourist, it's easy in Sweden. You can book your hotels online, and you know, it's very service-minded, helpful country.
Actually, one advice I would say: don't take out any cash.
No cash. No. No cash.
It's cash is useless in Sweden.
You use credit cards. We have this sort of app, also Swish, but then you have to have a Swedish bank account. I almost forgot how Swedish money looks.
You know, apparently we have new bills from like 2015.
Yeah, that's Greta Garbo. I don't know.
I've never seen them.
No. And you see a lot of shops, you know, they say cashless.
Yeah, cashless shop. Yeah, amazing.
We are early adopters in Sweden. We sort of like new things.
Yeah, fully support. Just in case someone are curious and you maybe want to practice some Swedish food, and more specifically making the food yourself, since that is very common in Sweden, you will have a chance to win the Taste of Europe cookbook, where, of course, saving the best for last, you will have a recipe for making the Swedish köttbullar, svenska köttbullar. And as always, all you have to do to join the Momo giveaway is to check out the European Union office here in Taiwan on social media. You have them on both Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then all you have to do is to go on their social media, read instructions when they're sharing this video on their social media, and you have a chance of winning this Taste of Europe cookbook. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.